Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome to episode 16 of my 1 versus 3 versus 3 Age of Wonders 3 playthrough series. In this series, I'm playing against two separate teams of 3 Emperor AI per team, and I'm playing as the Halfling Dreadnought, Welby the Tinkerer. In our last episode, we commenced an epic siege of Sassistan, and you can see here that we've actually managed to take control of it. So we were successful in sieging the city of Sassistan, which previously belonged to Colm the Lucky, who is a human warlord. So we actually ended up winning the battle. We do still have a number of our units that are alive, and we unfortunately lost a few units, but overall we came out ahead and we're now in control of the city. So that really marks our first successful siege against one of our opponents, and we're going to try to keep that momentum going this episode. However, before I dive in, I did just want to give a couple of quick shout-outs to a few individuals who left some fantastic comments on the last episode. The first of those comes from Casper Eklund. Casper pointed out that in this siege, as I just talked about it, I actually could have saved my Goblin Big Beetle. So just as a reminder, I purchased the Goblin Big Beetle from this inn, along with a couple of other units, including this Frostling Ice Scraper, as well as this Human Civic Guard, just to provide a little bit of extra muscle for this siege. And unfortunately, I ended up losing the Big Beetle to a Trebuchet attack. And Casper pointed out that at the point in the battle where I did lose that Big Beetle, I could have just kept that unit back and had it actually not be killed off by the Trebuchet, and I probably still would have been able to win the battle quite easily. So a great point there from Casper. I did kind of needlessly sacrifice the Big Beetle when I didn't have to. And of course, that's painful because it's a tier 3 unit. Another point here from Casper is that when I'm leveling up my Theocrat heroes, so let's go take a look underground at Holly here. So when I am leveling up Holly, a decent option would actually be Healing Aura. So what this does, all units in the hero's army regenerate an additional 6 health each turn. Now, although I do have a lot of healing capability with Holly, thanks to healing itself, as well as Bestow Iron Heart, it would actually be additionally beneficial to have Healing Aura, just because I'm letting my units take quite a bit of damage due to Divine Justicars, which kind of lets me play a little bit more fast and loose since my units have Resurgence. So Casper is just pointing out that it's actually not necessarily a bad idea to consider Healing Aura as an upgrade for my Theocrats. So great point there. And then finally, Casper has another point here, which is that with my Dreadnought hero, which is Welby the Tinkerer, an upgrade that actually might serve me well would be Sabotage. So the reason that Casper is suggesting this is because this does quite a lot of damage to machine units and also a ton of damage to a target wall. And this could actually come in handy if I'm sieging cities, because I could take out walls. And in addition, this might be very useful since I am most likely going to be going up against some Shrines of Smiting, which one of my opponents, who is a Theocrat, is likely going to create here. So I think that's, yeah, Awanes here, the Custodian, who is a High Elf Theocrat. So we're almost certainly going to be encountering machines in the form of those Shrines of Smiting. So great points there from Casper. The next comment comes from Ivan Engel. Ivan wanted to point out that in the battle for that Lost Library where I don't remember which Lost Library it was. I think I might have been doing it with Pimpton, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm misremembering. Might have been actually with Holly. Let's go back underground. Yeah, perhaps it was with Holly, or maybe it was actually, might have even been for this Forbidden Sanctum. In any case, there was a battle last episode where I had an opportunity to try to get control of a Frostling a Frostling White Witch. Sorry. And I basically tried Dominate. Oh, actually, I guess that was with Welby, now that I think about it. So that answered my question there. So it was with Welby. It was actually for this Lost Library over here. And I tried Dominate. It didn't work. I trapped the unit in a net, but that ran out before Dominate came back. And what Ivan pointed out is that I could have used up the White Witch's attacks by using attacks of opportunity, moving a unit that has a lot of resistance next to that unit and stepping it around so that the White Witch would attack me over and over again with a weak melee attack, and that would have used up her movement such that then she would have been incapable of really doing anything else, and that would have allowed me to keep the battle going and take advantage and try to convert her again. So great point there from Ivan. Kind of a missed opportunity on my part. The next comments come from Yonsich. Yonsich pointed out that it might actually be worth making Sassistan a vassal. This would allow me to free up my units so that I could keep kind of progressing rather than having to worry about guarding the city in the long term. So again, I was musing about whether or not I should absorb the city or just release it as a vassal. And if I were to release it as a vassal, not only would I gain good alignment and increase the happiness of humans, but it would also take the city off my hands in terms of having to defend it. So great point there from Yonsich. Yonsich also mentioned that at this point I should probably start really just mass producing cannons and tanks instead of worrying about producing juggernauts because they are more expensive. And this echoes comments that have been made on previous episodes, and I think Yonsich is right on the ball here, so definitely a good suggestion there. John Calabro also agrees with Yonsich about making Sassistan into a vassal, and that there's a lot of benefit there that would allow me to kind of free up units and just keep the onslaught rolling. So good point there from John. John also mentions that if I am able to get control of any other human cities that I decide maybe to not have as a vassal, human knights are great for dreadnoughts because I have that pistol upgrade for cavalry, similar to how the Goblin Big Beetle benefits from it as well. In addition, knights are also an armored unit, which further benefits from some of the upgrades that I have as a dreadnought. The next comments come from My Brain Hurts. Now, Brain pointed out a couple of things here. Most importantly is this idea that taking the city of Sassistan was actually quite costly. And I was very focused on just winning the battle, and I wasn't as concerned about sort of the relative cost. And in particular, losing that big beetle and, spending the gold to even buy the units from the inn. I think I spent over 400 gold just at the inn alone. And what Brain is pointing out is that although it was a great success to take the city, I did spend enough gold at that inn that I could have built, 3 or so tanks and cannons with that. So just great to always keep that in perspective, that there's always a cost. I don't regret doing the battle, but I like that Brain is kind of keeping me honest when it comes to the relative cost of these things. Brain also kind of echoed sort of what Yonsich was saying, that at this point I should probably really focus my production on mostly just cannons and tanks, as well as saving up some money to buy additional vassal cities when they come, when that option pops up. So I think that's a great suggestion there, to really focus kind of my gold on just unit production in terms of cannons and tanks. The other comment from Brain is that, if I were to construct a unit of like 2 cannons, 1 flame tank, and then, 3 other units that can kind of act as maintenance crew and sort of melee guards for my machine units, I could use that to probably take most cities that, have a stack or about a stack and a half defending them. So I think that's a great idea from Brain, that's a pretty versatile squad. Another comment here from Kuda1234, and I actually really like this comment because Kuda is pointing out that the bomb squad upgrade for dreadnoughts actually does have some utility. And I like this because in a previous episode I kind of I had talked about bomb squad and how I didn't, there was a comment from someone saying that, it's probably not that useful. I didn't really like it as well. I kind of was saying I don't think it's very useful for me. But I like this because it is a point from Kuda that bomb squad can actually be useful in certain situations. And that even if there's an upgrade or a strategy that might not work for you, or with your current situation, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a complete write-off and you should never consider using it. In certain situations, bomb squad may actually be very beneficial. And the example that Kuda gave was a squad where he had a number of highly mobile units. I think he had said Draconian Flyers. And he ended up coming under attack from the enemy's main couple of stacks. And there was like 3 or 4 stacks of units attacking him. And they kind of surrounded his units. And as they were killing them, the bomb squad effect was basically decimating all of them, such that he pretty much used one stack to wipe out 3 stacks virtually of his opponent's best units, and then that allowed him to kind of win the game. So just a nice reminder there from Kuda that just because one person or a group of people, or maybe most people, don't like a particular upgrade or strategy doesn't mean that it doesn't have utility and that depending on your play style and unit composition, there may be an avenue there where it's actually quite useful. So thank you to Kuda for pointing that out. And again, a big thank you to everybody for the fantastic comments and advice. I always appreciate it. Okay, now let's dive in here as, again, we've got work to do and we want to keep this momentum going. So, let's see here. Arendelle still has this quest that they're offering me. I don't really have anybody in the vicinity, so I think we're just going to ignore it. Now, let's think about Sassistan. I think we will do the vassal, as has kind of been suggested, just simply because then I don't have to worry about it. I can always bring it into the fold later if need be as well. The one caveat there would be it might be nice to have it not as a vassal just because we have this Heart of the Glades. But I think just to kind of take this off my hands so I don't have to worry about it, having this as a vassal I think would be beneficial for me. So that's what we're going to do. Now, we also have some cannons here that are moving in to reinforce the city. So we have that coming. We can kind of then send most of our units off to continue invading here. We're going to just keep the, like I said, keep the good times going. Keep that momentum flowing. Fula Zaire would like to join me. Again, we don't have the money right now, and I think we're just going to hold off on that. I will accept it probably next turn, though, and maybe move these units in just to guard the city. Valok would like to join. Now, we do have our stack here with War Master Habby, and we actually can move them right now. So let's get them kind of heading over here, because we've got lots of these structures to clear out. And then once War Master Habby is over here, I think then we will actually bring Valok into the fold. But for now, we might hold off for another turn. So now let's do this battle here. We got a couple of units that need killing here. And you know what? This might actually give us the gold we need to bring Fula Zaire into the fold. Okay, so we've got a cannon, we've got a flame tank. Can use those to full effect, hopefully. We also have our engineers here, and War Master Habby does have Repair Machine, which is going to be useful if we take any damage with our machine units, of course. And then our golems, actually party robot prototypes, because they were built in a halfling city. So we could blast, but I think I'd rather just wait and kind of have them group up and see what I can take advantage of with that cannon. Okay, so they're not going to push forward at me. So that gives me an opportunity here to blast with some fire damage, which I'm going to do. And you know what? With War Master, can we get... Oh, we can. Fantastic. Let's get the kill there. Our Musketeers can step right up here and actually do a decent amount of damage to those Civic Guard. And then you know what? Our cannon can almost kill the Civic Guard, so maybe we just do that. Let's see. Might not be able to at the current angle, so now if we step up a little bit further... Unfortunately, not quite. I don't want to get them, like, too far in there, such that they take a ton of melee damage. Maybe we go like this. Yeah, there we go. We can blast the Civic Guard for some big damage. We could also blast the Priest. Yeah, you know what? Let's kill the Priest. Just fire that cannon in there. Ooh, and I should have had my engineers be a little bit closer so they could reload the cannon. That's alright, though. And then we'll move our robot over this way. Okay, we got lucky there, which took most of that damage away, which is great. Let's reload the cannon. We can move our flame tank up and fire blast the heck out of... I think if we go over... Just trying to do this so we don't flame our own units here. So unfortunately, that's going to really blast most of our units. Another option would be to... Let's see, what if we go back like this? Can we flame? Yeah, we can flame. It's unfortunately obstructed, but we can at least do some damage. There we go. And then our Musketeers over here should actually be able to step up, get a nice flanking hit, get the kill. So now it's just this Halberdier that's left. So we can step right up and blast our pistol or our crossbow. Looks like the crossbow is going to do a touch more damage, so let's do that. And then our cannon can just... Oh, just blast the ever-loving heck out of them. There we go. Excellent. So there's some basically free experience and a little bit of gold as well. And fortunately, we can't get War Master back into the stack, but we can move him over that way. We didn't really take any damage, so no worries there. All right, so now if we did want to bring this Draconian village into the fold, we can do that. So let's do it. There we go. And then we can park our units right there to defend our newly acquired city here. And we can start developing it, although, again, we don't have a ton of gold to do that at the moment. I think so. We'll just have merchandise for now. But that is quite nice that we have this city brought into the fold. Let's see what else we got going on. So, yeah, that takes care of that. We did have this cannon who was moving up to potentially join up with Pimpton up there. So, the other option is we send the cannon over to kind of move on this way. But I think we will actually have it go try and join Pimpton up here. Now, as for Pimpton, we have to decide, do we want to try this battle? The only problem is if we go for these units here, I think what will happen is it will drag all the units into the battle. We can't just fight this stack on its own. I don't think that's possible. Let's see if we can do that. I don't think it'll work. Oh, you know what? We can let them run. Let's let them run. Yeah, okay, and then we can just engage this group. Okay, that's actually perfect. That worked out very, very well. So now let's do this battle manually, and what we're going to do is we're going to try our best to get a conversion off and see if we can recruit a unit here to help us out. I think I'm going to go probably for... I'm pretty sure conversion works on the Feathered Serpent, so I think that's what we're going to try for. We could also try for the Air Elemental. I'm not as interested in the other units. Okay, so let's just kind of beef up our units here a touch. Put a boost on our flyer there and our Sun Guard. And also move our Slither up. And we'll let them kind of come to us here. Okay, there's that pounce. Thankfully, we were kind of ready for it. Now, the big question here is... I don't think we really have anything with Pimpton that is going to improve the odds of getting off a conversion. The only thing I suppose we could do is we could use our casting points to throw Skin of Oil onto the unit that we're interested in, as that would mean -2 resistance. So we may actually do that. But before we do, let's just do some big damage there. That's fantastic. We can blast that Panther there and just get the kill, no problem at all. Now, with Pimpton, we can step up and try for the Feathered Serpent, I suppose. And if that fails, we can just go in and start fighting it with the Sun Guard. As for our flyer, I suppose we can go over there. So let's move Pimpton up here, kind of like this. And then let's see. Okay, so we have a 30% chance. Air Elemental cannot be affected, so that makes sense. So you know what? The only issue here is that this unit is in guard mode, so we may actually want to... You know what? We can go up and guard break. So let's do that. We'll step up. We'll guard break. There. Now that should give us better odds. 45% chance. And you know what? I am going to cast this spell. We're going to use Skin of Oil here. Kind of costly, but I think that'll be worth if we can get this. So that improved it to 55%. So let's try it. Nice, and we got it. That is fantastic. Very, very nice. Quite happy to have a Feathered Serpent. So now let's step up, do a nice flanking shot there, and that does it. So Skin of Oil actually helped us out quite a bit there. Ooh, and they're going after my Sun Guard there. Thankfully, we can actually use our Feathered Serpent to drop a nice big heal, which is great. And then our Naga Slither can step up and do some big damage here. Nice flank shot. Our little guys can do a little bit of damage here as well. Our Air Elemental can get the... Or excuse me, our Sun Guard can get the finish and a level up. And then we can drop a nice heal on our Sun Guard just to get them back up to speed there. Or back up to health, I should say. And then we can kill off the Dread Monkey. So... Again, it was, a bit costly in terms of casting points, but we did get ourselves a Feathered Serpent. And I think that's a pretty decent unit to get our hands on. Quiver of Razor Leafs. I think we already have something like that with Pimpton. I suppose we could send this off to another hero. We could also just sell it for some extra gold. Extra range damage and razor projectiles is pretty decent. But, you know what, I think we're just going to sell this, and let's just reap the gold benefit there. So a little bit extra gold. So yeah, very happy to have this Feathered Serpent. That's excellent. Now, the question is, what do we do with Pimpton and his group? So can we get... We can make it up to here. What is going on here? There's a couple of dragons that look like they've just ventured out beyond their domain there. So I'm not sure what's going on with them. But we could get our stack all the way up to this hasteberry bush. So let's maybe do that. We'll go like this and like this. Okay, so the dragons probably came just beyond their little domain radius here, which is kind of interesting. But we can grab the hasteberries. So now the question is, where do we go? Might be nice to grab this watchtower just so that we have the vision. Alternatively, we could head down and go for this structure. Personally, I'm really thinking the watchtower is probably a good choice just to get that extra vision range. Oh, and look at this. So I wonder if these dragons are part of a quest that someone is doing for this, the giants here. That's probably what's going on, actually. So they'd like to open borders and do a peace treaty. I will accept that. And let me know when you're ready to talk. So I might actually be able to even fight these dragons for free, but honestly, probably not worth necessarily because the fire dragon has mind control immunity, so I'm not going to really have an opportunity there to convert it. Anyway, let's do this watchtower battle. So this will give us better vision range so we can kind of see what's going on. So yeah, one of our opponents is probably working on a quest for that. For that dwelling, and that's why those dragons are there. That makes a lot of sense, because I was really trying to figure out why the heck are these dragons out of their domain. They're not in anywhere. We'll use Guard Break on the Prowler and then try for a conversion here. Ooh, we didn't get it. I mean, again, we had pretty low odds, so I wasn't really expecting much, but can get the nice flank shot there. A couple of pounce hits that was pretty much sure we were going to take there. Now, Pimpton can step on up and drop a nice big heal on our flyer. Meanwhile, our adventurers can step up and put some hurt on these cheetahs. And then our Slither can follow up with a nice kill. Sun Guard can do a little bit of work, break the guard, and then nice flank shot there from our flyers. Excellent. Okay, so now we can see a little bit more. And yeah, there's those giants. We've got a couple of flame giants there. Now the big question is, where do we go from here with this stack? I mean, we could actually kill off the dragons, just prevent the quest from going forward with whoever's trying to do it. You know, that's not necessarily the worst idea. Then we could move in and clear out the tomb in there, for example. Yeah, we've got options. Be nice to head up and clear out this Sphinx Temple as well. That would be great. And I mean, if we want to go up there, we're going to have to kill these dragons, I think. And I don't think that would affect our reputation with dragons at all if we were to fight that little group. Pimpton has a level up here, so let's kind of look at what we could give. Vow of Poverty, that would reduce the upkeep cost for his stack, which would be decent. Although I think I'm going to go with Aura of Resistance just to make them a little bit tougher there. We'll worry about the gold income maybe next level up. Alright, so let's back up. Now, again, do we want to fight this battle? I mean, we'll be able to win. That's not the thing I'm worried about. I'm mostly just... Well, let's see if we do it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to affect our relationship with the dragons at all, so let's do it. Ouch. that fire breath didn't feel so great. We really want to tie up this dragon with some damage here. So Pimpton is actually in really rough shape. So we're going to retreat Pimpton back. We're going to drop a nice self-heal on. Now, we can step up our adventurer here. Really not do a ton of damage, but we'll do a little bit. And then we can fly in our flyer. Do a nice shot there. Some extra damage there. We resisted fearsome, thank goodness. And then our Sun Guard can step up as well. Going after our little halflings. Poor little halflings. Thankfully, with Lucky there, they actually survived. It was pretty wild. So our Slither can get the finish here. Fantastic. Okay. So that takes care of that. And whoever was doing that quest is no longer available. So now the question is, do we want to send Pimpton in to go and grab this tomb? Or would we rather have him maybe go back around this way? Maybe go grab this Sphinx Temple, for example. Or alternatively, send him over this way. Kind of got some options. And it does look like we have... Oh, this Naga dwelling now belongs to Galendil. So it's a vassal of Galendil. Okay, I was going to say there is a dwelling over there we could go and work on. Since we have War Master Habby who is moving over this way, I think maybe it would be better to just kind of keep on maybe moving sort of north. So we either, I think, should go back this way or head up for this tomb. Now, the one thing we have to watch out for is that if this giant city, or dwelling, I should say, becomes a vassal of someone else, we will have to fight our way out if we're in the domain, because suddenly all these units will become hostile and will probably attack us. So, you know what, I may actually want to stay out of there, just because that does pose a risk that way. So let's actually go on back. We'll head back, grab this Sphinx Temple, and proceed north up there, and try and figure out where our opponent is. Okay, so Hard Thistle has finished the Master's Guild, which is excellent. That is very, very good for us. Now we can start producing... The reason that that's so good is because that means that, if we just look at it, the city generates an additional 15 production, and as well, if we have any machine units there, they will regenerate health, and also our machine units now have an extra level up there. They start off at the first medal here, which is great. So that actually makes a big difference for us. Okay. So yeah, we can start pumping out cannons and flame tanks, which is going to be awesome. I think maybe we'll start doing flame tanks. Again, this goes back to, I think, a comment from Casper Eklund a couple episodes back where we can make a bunch of flame tanks and then clear out this Castle of the Lich King and basically deal with certain units that are going to be very susceptible to that. In the meantime, we can send on this spy drone down. We got a few units here that we've produced in our capital, so they can actually head on out. Would be great to actually clear out some of these structures around here, like... For example, this trading post would add 20 extra gold to our income every turn, which would be really nice to actually have. So, you know what? Let's just send a group up like this. And we can think about maybe engaging in one of these battles. The only thing here is we have to watch out. This flame tank isn't going to be very effective against units that are highly fire resistant. So, that'd be the only thing there. Meanwhile, in our throne... We really don't have the gold to do much else, so we could have done a cannon or flame tank there. But I think what we'll do instead is we'll just do merchandise. Rackalen has finished a Flowrock Citadel and is now going to do a Dreadnought's Foundry, which is great. Because once this is done, we can start working on producing some machine units out of here. And since we have that Flowrock, the Flowrock Citadel, that means machine units are going to have plus 10 health. So that's going to be... actually pretty decent, a way for us to produce some reasonably powerful units out of there. Now, here are these roaming units that are threatening us, so we're going to send this unit off this way. Now, I don't... Do we have a peace treaty with these dragons? We do not, so we're not going to be able to just waltz on through there without kind of making them angry. So maybe instead we'll go around like this. And go around this way. Oh, and that's a dead end too, unfortunately. Whoops. I didn't really think that one through. I guess I maybe should have just gone through there and risked making them angry. Ooh, and look at this. We got some shadow demons to deal with up here with Leo, so let's take care of them. Now, again, a reminder here that we have an item on its way to Leo, which is going to allow him to dominate units. So that's kind of what we're waiting for at the moment. Let's do some big damage there. A little bit more over here. Ooh, and I actually put those units in some risk. That maybe wasn't smart. Let's do that. Dire Panther it up here. And we'll pounce on the Bombard. And then we can just charge the larvae. There we go. Perfect. That worked out really well. Alright, so that's those units dealt with. Maybe we can clear out this Celestial Pool. Nightshade Fairy's pretty tough, but I think we could probably handle it. Especially if we use our... Leo does have Phoenix Warrior, which we've been using to pretty good effect, actually. So yeah, let's step in there and take care of this battle. Ouch. Little fire pistol action. We may not even have to do it, honestly. If we can just get in there, we can probably really put the hurt on them pretty good. So actually, let's Werepanther our Mystic here. We can step right up. And our Brew Brother here can get right up in there. Do some hefty damage. If we were to charge in with Leo, it's actually not a terrible amount of damage. We can do quite a bit. So we can do this. Very nice. And then Leo himself can get in there and do quite a lot. If we also add in this Brew Brother doing some work. Oh, yeah. Now, the question, though, is could we just get the kill with a range shot instead? Yes, we can, as long as we don't fumble, which doesn't look like we will. Perfect. So now we just got these two left, so we should be okay. Lucky sort of coming through for us there. Always useful. And the Mariner here, we should be able to just maul to death with our Dire Panthers. It is quite nice having that versatility with the Tigran unit there, being able to make that transformation. It does make a pretty big difference, actually. Blast the fairy, and then get the kill this way. Perfect. So that takes care of that battle. Now again, so Leo, that item will arrive in 3 more turns. So for a little while, he's still going to be very kind of understaffed. So I do need to be careful with him, because obviously if I encounter my opponent in the Shadow Realm, he's going to be in real danger of getting just killed off. Yeah, again, quite a blunder moving these units that way. That wasn't smart, but that's okay. Stuff like that happens. You know, when you're not paying attention, you make mistakes like that. Just trying to think, is it maybe worth sending this stack in to go clear a few things? I think for now, we'll just wait for this unit to kind of group up. So those ones can just hang out where they are. Have we finished moving Welby over here? Let's take a look. Yeah, pretty much. He's kind of done his thing. So we're good there. Let's think about our next research project. Modern warfare training. Machine and archer units that are produced in the Empire cities gain an additional rank. You know, that's not too bad. I mean, honestly, we're producing a ton of machines now. Ooh, reassemble now. This is a nice one. Instantly reassembles target destroyed friendly machine with 35% of its total health. This is basically just like a revive spell for machines. So that's really, really nice. I think we're going to probably grab that one. But let's maybe do this modern warfare training just because we're in the process of producing units. So the earlier we get this, the more benefit we'll get out of it. So let's do that. Modern warfare training. Okay, so we're skipping that quest from Arundel for now. Bev Jin has produced a cannon, which we already sent off up that way. Yargan, now we have to do our production. So again, we're just going to do merchandise. And the rest of our cities here, it's just going to continue to be merchandise, as we are, again, kind of short on gold at the moment. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, back to Welby. He can just hang out. And that's going to do it for our turn. So we will end things right there. Now, let's see if Colm decides to try to maybe rally back after losing that city. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to try any funny business. I wouldn't put it past him. He may try and rally some Manticore Riders or something like that and try to reclaim the city that he's now lost. We will have to see. Okay, now it is his turn right now, as you can see here. So now let's see if we get any action coming out of his domain. Yep, there we go. Speak of the devil. Yep, so he's mounting an army here to come and try and reclaim the city. So, good news that I have my cannons moving in, but it's going to be a few turns till they get here, so we may have to try and just hold the fort in the meantime. I'm actually very glad that I'm turning this into a vassal, as that's going to provide additional units there just to guard it. Now, I may, because he hasn't really moved his units in a way that they're all grouped up, I may actually be able to just send my stack in and kind of wipe them out since they're spread out right now. I'll have to be very careful because of their mobility and strength, but I think maybe I'll do that. I'll see if I can capitalize and just kill off this stack before it even gets to the city. I will have to be careful, of course, but it should be possible. I can also maybe summon that Hellhound to join in with my little army here at Sassistan. So yeah, that's all Colm had for us, was just this. I mean, of course, I'm sure he's got other things going on behind the scenes that we can't see, but we have now confirmation of his Manticore Riders. They are going to be quite the challenge to deal with. We may have to again really bring in our heavy hitters there to start dealing with groups of them if we're going to be fighting them. And we have to watch out because they have a ton of mobility, so our cannons and whatnot are going to be obviously very susceptible to the extreme mobility there of those Manticore Riders. Because once units get into melee range with the machines, it's kind of it's not very good, obviously. I think these golems are actually going to really be useful for me here. They're going to come into play. Thankfully, they now have Defender, which is awesome. Unit gets an extra 20% bonus to defense and resistance when guarding, so they're going to be very, very tanky, although I think... Oh, I actually thought the Manticore Riders had guard break, but I guess they don't. Oh, and there it is. Unfortunately, our units are coming under attack here. I really don't think we're going to be able to win this battle, and unfortunately here, this unit does have a ranged attack, so... Actually, yeah, a bunch of them do, so I think we'll just let our units die. Very sad. Ooh, and look at this. Zorn the Disciplined. He has disjuncted suppressed nature. Very annoying there. Beb Jun now. It looks like we had a domain invasion. What happened there? I did not notice. Maybe something in the Shadow Realm that popped through. Not exactly clear what's going on, so might have been some roaming units or something. Who knows? In any case, we're going to keep our cannons moving now that it's our turn is flipped over. Going to get our cannons up in there kind of ASAP. And yeah, I think we're going to rally our troops here and basically send them out to just go and fight. I think we can get there. Whoops. I think if we just send our stack over, yeah, they should be able to get there, no problem. Yeah, no problem. So we'll make up our little army and go over there. But before we do that, we want to kind of think about some of these other things we have going on. Okay, looks like we have an alliance proposal here from this dwelling, so let's accept that. It's quite expensive, but I think it's worth it. Become a vassal? Absolutely. So now we've got some dragons on our side. That's pretty cool. Anything else? We did produce a flame tank. That's going to come in handy, of course. Now, where do I send this flame tank? That's the other question. I think maybe down this way to join in with kind of the other ones. that we've produced in our throne. So we want to get it kind of up to the front lines here as soon as we can. Now we've got this Feathered Serpent as well that we want to join in with Pimpton's stack here. So let's send him up this way. Oh, and look at this. And you know what? There it is. That's exactly what I was worried about. That if this was going to become the vassal of one of my opponents, I was going to end up potentially having to fight all these units. And we've got a lot of tier 4s. 2 tier 4 units and then a whole schwack load of tier 3s. Now, if we can mount a decent army to go and fight, we could try and actually convert one of these fire giants, which would be pretty amazing, as then we'd have a nice tier 4 unit. But obviously, yeah, we wanted to stay out of there just because that's pretty dangerous. So I think that was a smart move, staying away. Let's see what else we got going on. Draconians are happy. That's awesome. So they now like us quite a bit. We actually have a decent number of Draconian cities and vassals and whatnot, so not really a surprise there. So I guess, you know what, let's do this. I'm actually kind of itching to try this battle out. So now let's think about who we want in the stack. So obviously we want this other golem, that's for sure. So we'll send him over. We'll send all these units over, including the builder. And then we can grab maybe one more. Let's take the Ice Scraper and send him over as well. And then, you know what, we can also summon the Hellhound over here if we are so inclined. And that would actually allow us to send one more unit in. So maybe we'll do that. And the Hellhound can join the battle from the side here like that. And then, you know, we can actually initiate the battle with the Hellhound too, which would be not so bad. So it's saying probable victory. I think we got pretty good odds here, so let's do it. We do have to remember, though, that Colm does have spells that he can throw at us here. Oh, yeah, there we go. So he banished our unit that we had just summoned there, so... Ooh, and look at that. They've got some pretty solid melee strength, so we have to be very, very careful. So let's heal up our unit here. And let's do a weaken to try to improve our odds a little bit. And then it's basically going to be our golems here. And it's pretty amazing just how much damage these Manticore Riders do. And of course, they can flank in behind and do all kinds of nasty things to us. So we have to be very, very careful. And of course, our engineers are going to be prime pickings for them because they like to, you know, flank in behind and stuff. So we have to watch out for that. Our Ice Scraper here, let's step on up and try for a freeze. Again, low odds, but always worth trying because if you're successful, that is pretty nice. Got a chance here. Let's see. Blinded doesn't really do much for a melee unit, honestly. Yeah, let's do it, though. Okay, didn't really do much. Maybe I should have used Guardbreaker first, and that would have improved the damage I could have done there. Yeah, let's step on up. Yeah, there. So we're going to probably lose one of our golems. That's quite likely, I would say. Meanwhile, our other golem can step up to maybe fight the pikeman. I wouldn't be surprised if the Manticore Rider goes in and tries to kill my Blight Doctor or something like that. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so we berserked one of my units. Ooh, and unfortunately, my berserked units are kind of going nuts over there. That's not so good. Okay, so what we can do is flank the phalanx, so let's do that. Phalanx, I guess I should say. Now, can we dispel, maybe? Let's see. What are our odds? Ooh, only a 50% chance. Not so great. Can we do anything with our Blight Doctor? We could steal. Can't cure the disease. If we steal it, we would berserk the Blight Doctor instead, which doesn't really help us either. Again, our builder is kind of not really doing much in the way of being helpful at the moment. But we can drop a heal. Meanwhile, our other golem can step up and try and beat up this Manticore Rider, who unfortunately is probably going to just kill the golem almost. Gosh, this is actually not looking so great for me here at the moment. And if we step off, we're going to take an attack of opportunity, I think. Maybe we won't, actually. Oh yeah, I think we can step off because they've used up all their movement, so that's actually really nice. So you know what? Let's do this. Oh, fantastic. Okay, there we go. So we were able to win the battle, and all we lost was the Ice Scraper and the Hellhound. But you can see just how dangerous these Manticore Riders are, obviously. Very, very dangerous units. Now, the only other issue here is that I've left the city basically with just a single guard. So that's actually not so ideal. But, and we can't step up and get the finish there, which is not good. But hopefully he won't try for this. I mean, he may, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing my units back so that we can get back to the city. Just killing that off, though, was great. I think that was a huge benefit for us, so I'm glad that I did that. You know what, let's... Oh, we can't even keep walking with the one that has 4 movement. Yeah, so those Manticore Riders are nasty. We're going to have to be very, very careful because they are quite nasty. Now, as for Pimpton here, can't quite make it up to the Sphinx Temple, so... we can get up there and get close to it, though. Alright, so now let's look at kind of what else we got going on. I think we're actually going to divert this cannon away from Pimpton and send it down this way to join up with what's kind of coming over this way. Alright, so there's War Master's stack. We'll keep on moving. Here we go. We can fight some Tigran units. We will have to be kind of careful because these Tigrans obviously can do fire damage, which we don't have any resistance to with a lot of our machine units. Although, thankfully, our flame tank does have protection from it. But yeah, most of our units don't really have any protection, so we will be susceptible to that. And of course, the mobility of these Tigrans is something that we can't underestimate. I think this is actually going to be a fairly challenging battle for me here. Party Robot Prototype, you know what? What we're going to do, just to protect our hero, we're going to throw on a Nourishing Meal. And that's just to give us that extra boost in health there, basically. Last stand, I think we might actually throw on our Party Robot here. Again, just to kind of improve our odds a little bit in this battle. And then our Engineer we want to keep next to our cannon so that we can do some blasting when the time comes. You know what? We can even do some damage right now. Let's blast that Sphinx. And then we can actually do the reload right now. There we go. Our flame tank, meanwhile, can kind of just step on up a little bit. And our musketeer can just kind of hide. Now, what I realize I did is I've lined up 2 groups of units for a nice sun disc, which that was a bit of an oopsie on my part. Okay, they didn't decide to attack, though. So you know what? Let's take advantage of that and just do another blast. And then reload again. And you know what? We'll just keep doing that as long as they'll allow us to. And there, you know what? And of course, I had the opportunity and I didn't separate my units. After I just pointed it out, I didn't do what I should have there. Okay. Let's oh, our cannon's already loaded, so we can blast somebody if we really are wanting to. Alright, so let's wait to do that. Now, what is our flame tank capable of? Ooh, some pretty nasty damage there. Now, if we were to step up like this... Yeah, we can hit all of them, so let's do that. Ooh, fantastic. Big damage there. That was great. Alright, so now, let's see, we obviously want to get rid of this Sphinx, who's a bit of an issue for us currently. So, perhaps we step up like this. You know what? We can even use our Musketeer to turn the Sphinx. And then I think we can just cannon shot. And a critical, just a big oof of a shot there. Now, can we do that? Ooh, that's going to kill that Prowler almost certainly. Yeah, there. Okay, we can just do this. Excellent. So now our party robot can just step up. And War Master Habby can throw repair on the party robot. Excellent. So we'll take some damage from the Shredder. Nothing we can't handle. You know what? We can reload the cannon yet again with our engineer. And cannon did get... It's very close to a level up, so I'm actually going to just do this. Oh, that's nasty. I really do enjoy blasting things with the cannon. I find it quite enjoyable. Ooh, and look at this. Okay, we got some solid items here. Shield of Blocked Whispers, not really that necessary, but the Dreaded Monkey Mask is pretty solid. +2 defense and cause fear, so I will take that reward mostly for the Monkey Mask. And not bad giving it to a Warlord. That's actually pretty decent. So, and he does have martial arts, which is quite useful. So, as for the Shield of Blocked Whispers, I mean, I guess we can give it to War Master Happy right now, because he doesn't have Blood Brothers, but once he does, it's going to become kind of redundant, so for now we'll keep it, and then we can sell it later, I guess, or figure out what to do with it. We'll just jump back to our squad there. So now we're going to move over, we'll clear out this Flow Rock Quarry, and then we can start eventually maybe moving up some of our other flame tanks and think about this Castle of the Lich King eventually. Now, do we want to bring Valok in? We might want to wait one more turn until we're just a bit closer, and then maybe we can accept it. So I think we'll wait again. Arendal, again, we're not interested in that, really. We're just going to keep it as it is. Let's do a little bit more exploring here with our spy drone. Just looking to see what we can kind of find down there. A little bit more digging that we can do for some extra income. And we're just kind of chunking away at the ground here. There we go. Leo, on the other hand, we have to decide what are we doing with Leo. Again, we have to be careful as we move further over this way because we are getting closer to where we know our opponent is. That is our Shadow Elf Rogue opponent, Quandria. We know that she does have a city right here that she's captured and is taken control of, so we have to be cautious. So there's a little stack. We can send them in to probably do some work. Ripura's produced a siege workshop, which is good. Again, this city, I think we're going to just do Shadow Elf unit production rather than machines. I think that's probably just kind of going to be the game plan there. But we're not going to worry too much about developing it at this point, just because we're going to focus more on producing our cannons and our flame tanks in other cities. So I don't think it makes as much sense to really focus on that. Okay, so now we have Welby stack here. And got to figure out kind of what we want to do here. So we can use this little guy. Okay, and here we go. Looks like we've got some enemy domain here that we can see. That looks like it belongs to Colm. Now, we could spend some money on a Firstborn. That's a lot of money. Probably not worth. Especially since we don't have the gold at the moment. So we're just going to move right on by that. And here we go. Okay, so we've got some... Looks like a little Dwarven, perhaps. Let's actually jump a bit closer. Okay, so we've got a hero. Oh, and there's Colm himself. Look at this. Okay. This must be one of his frontier cities. It's a Dwarven village. So we have our stack here. Hopefully we can actually put some work in on him. And again, we have to be careful because if he has some Manticore Riders that I can't see, he might actually step up and really try and put the hurt on me. So we'll just hope that what we've got here is pretty strong. I mean, it is a decent stack of units, so I think we'll be okay. But hopefully he doesn't have something hiding that I can't see. But we might have a chance here to actually kill off Colm if we can have him kind of hang out for another turn. Again, big risk, though, because we've got our main leader just sitting there, so obviously that's a risky endeavor. Yeah, we're not quite able to do that. So let's jump down to Holly now. We've got more work to do with Holly. So now we can rebalance her group. We can jump the Draconian Scoundrel out of the stack here. Maybe just have them go up and scout a bit. Send them maybe this way. And then we can add in the Ogre into this stack. So now we've got very powerful stack here, which is fantastic. And I think we're going to send her up this way. Might even be able to get ourselves in there, which would be kind of cool. Okay, and we've got a neutral uncontacted city. It looks like it might be orcs. So we can try for that. We're going to maybe even try clearing out this lost city with what we've got here. Since we have Divine Justicars, might be worth. These other units here, we're just going to kind of group them up. There we go. All right. So far, so good here on this turn, I would say. But we definitely need to just keep producing these powerful machine units that are going to be our main sort of bread and butter going forward. That's really a big focus. And of course, you know, using Pimpton to just kind of continue converting units to aid my my war effort here is also going to be necessary. I'm just looking around kind of at what else we've got going on here. So we've used War Master already. So yeah, let's pick our research. So we did that upgrade, which is great. So what is this? Empire upgrade, Mana Fuel Factory. Construct factories that run entirely on mana fuel cells. Machine units cost 10% less gold to produce. Now that's pretty cool. However, I think I'm going to go for Reassemble just so that I have it kind of in my back pocket. Then I'll probably go with Mana Fuel Factory. So let's grab Reassemble here. That'll take 2 turns. Then we can jump back to the Empire upgrade. Again, I don't have a ton of familiarity with the Empire upgrades for the Dreadnought simply because I don't have much experience playing them. So yeah, a lot of these little cities, we're just going to do merchandise. Ripura. I mean, again, it would be nice to maybe have another unit to guard just because we know that there's some roaming units. So maybe we spend just a little bit of gold on another Arcane Archer or something like that. Just to... Or even a Storm Priest might actually be a better choice. Yeah, let's do that. Yargan, same thing. We'll just do merchandise. Now, Bittercrest and Hard Thistle. I think Bittercrest, we're going to do another... Let's do a cannon. Oh, yeah, that's going to be nice. Now, as for these units, again, it would be nice to actually clear this stuff out. But, honestly, might not be worth. We might just want to get these units up to the front lines, really, kind of as fast as we can, rather than worrying about clearing out this structure. I mean, the extra gold income would be very nice to have, but, honestly, may not even be worth. It's kind of a tough call. Maybe I'll let that one sit for a bit and think about it. Okay, yeah, and again, most of our other cities, we're just going to do merchandise. Now, actually, no, here's a question. Do we want to even produce the cannon here? Instead, we could produce it in Bebjun. The only thing is, I think it takes an extra turn. Yeah, so you know what? Let's not do that. It takes more time. Because I was going to say that's a bit closer to sort of the front lines of battle. Most of our other cities here are just going to be merchandise. So yeah, really gold is just what's limiting us at the moment. Yeah, so now what do I do with this little group? Do I... I don't think it's worth parking this group here and waiting to clear this out. I think it's just going to be, let's just keep on moving here. Let's kind of get up and into the fight as soon as we can. This little guy is just going to camp out in the city. So that's going to do it for our turn there. Now, do we want to get Suppressed Nature going yet again? Probably. I think that's probably worth doing. Mana Fuel Cells would be great to throw on some of our new cities that we have in the fold here. So let's just see now. I think I'm just looking for the little wisps around each city. I think pretty much all of our cities that we've had for a while have it, including in the Shadow Realm. Yeah, so we're in good shape in that regard. So the only one that we could throw it on here would be over here. Let's do that. Very nice. Little bit of extra benefit there. So now we could do Suppressed Nature. Of course, it's going to take 2 turns, which is kind of unfortunate. But I think it's probably worth getting Suppressed Nature going yet again, as that does really help with my critical hit likelihood so my units aren't unhappy. So let's do that. So that's going to bring it kind of to the end of our turn here, and I think we're going to call this one a little earlier than we have with some of our other episodes. This is just, I think, a nice, concise ending point for the episode. So we're going to zoom out here. So again, we've now come into contact with Colm quite a bit, and we actually know where Colm himself is over here in this dwarven city. So interesting developments in this episode, that is for sure. So we're going to save this one and call this one episode 16. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.